the shelter. Ooh. Okay. Aloha, folks. I think we're live. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Let me give a shout to everyone on the chat. Welcome to our May Intermediate Live Jam. We're going to work on advanced reggae strumming practice. And this is definitely for intermediate level because reggae strumming is hard. It involves muting with the left hand and the right hand. It involves scratching. It involves a lot of the timing of, getting those backbeat hits. So a lot of rhythm work. And I mentioned in the Patreon post that U3 has been playing reggae on the road, and I want to work on those skills for myself. So I thought I'd practice it with all of you. There's a packet attached to the Patreon post. I just sent that back out like maybe half an hour ago. So check out the post. And there are a few songs in there that we'll use to practice. Easier songs. But yeah, I just got back from tour. I'm still, adjusting a little bit back to real life. But I wanted to make sure we do our Patreon lesson for the day. So let me give a shout to everyone on the chat, and then we'll get moving with the lesson. I'm going to put my ukulele down, and we can do a little bit of a arm and finger wrist warm up, each for ourselves as we are doing our introductions. And you'll need that today because sometimes the muting and the squeezing of the chords, we can just cause excessive strain just because we're trying so hard to get the mute. And today we'll work on the mindful aspect of letting go and only using enough pressure to get the chords and the muting. Okay, I'm going to go over here to my chat and say hi. Let's see. I see Audrey. I see Amanda from Michigan. I see Shelly in Vancouver. We stayed with Shelly in Vancouver. Actually, Shelly gave us her house. She let U3 take over her house. So big shout out to Shelly for letting us do that. We had a great time. And the Vancouver show was great. Sold out. We had a lot of sold out shows and a lot of good response from everyone. So thank you, everybody, for supporting. Christina in LA, Bob in Kentucky, yeah, Tom in Chico, Donna in Pacifica. Donna was at our Berkeley show. Fawn in Snoqualmie. Fawn was at our Seattle show and also hosted a little flash mob for us. Sorry. Okay. Let's hope that clears it up. I might need to mute. Okay. Let's see. I see Holly from Kansas, Sherry in Wisconsin, Audrey's from Richmond, Adrian in Lomita, Larry in Southport, Greg in LA. Greg was at the Huntington Beach show. Jeannie in Ojai, Carissa in Albuquerque, Bruce in Colorado. How's the jet lag? Still there. Christy in Colorado. Tina in Seattle, or normally in Seattle, but now in South Carolina. Okay. Lee in Atlanta. Shelly said, thank you for not going on too rock star. We're not there yet. Not yet, at least. Michelle in Scottsdale. Susanna in Toronto. Yeah, back from Vancouver. Oh my gosh, you came all the way from Toronto. Amazing. Aw, thank you for coming all that way, going from Toronto to Vancouver. Yeah, we are very excited to get back out on the road. It's good to have a little bit of rest, though. We'll be heading to London soon. San Francisco first for U-Explosion, and then to London. And then Enough the Grand Northern Ukulele Festival in Huddersfield in northern England, and then over to Paris. And there might be a couple of more European shows that we're trying to work out, hopefully. It's so interesting how all this is coming together, yeah? I'm just letting it happen organically, you know? Okay, let us go to our music. All right, so the first song I have in the packet is Valerie. We worked on this in our monthly live lesson a couple weeks ago. I did it from Lenny's house, for those of you who attended. I don't necessarily want to start with this because the chords are a little bit more complicated, but I put it in the packet because we worked on it and did cover the reggae strum a little bit. I didn't cover the reggae strum in depth in the live lesson because it would just take a long time, and there's a lot of intersecting skills. So let's go to the next song, which is What's Up. And it's nice because it's only 3 chords. They repeat over and over, and then you play them for quite a long time, and so that'll give us some time to work on everything. Let's start with this reggae strum. The very simplest reggae strum here is just a mute down, mute down, mute down, mute down. Okay, so I could also kind of walk us through the different levels that we will have today, right? That if you start with the simplest reggae strum, it is just mute, and where you could scratch. Mute meaning scratch. You know, hit, mute, hit, mute, hit, mute, hit, right? Then we can also add ups, right? We can add mute, mute, hit, hit, right? But you can play the down up together, or you can have mute in between, right? Right? We can add a chuck, but we won't focus on the chuck today. We're going to mostly focus on the muting and the timing, and we're going to add a metronome as well. Okay? So let us kick it off here with the metronome. I'm going to set my metronome. Let's start at 100 BPM and see if that's not too fast for us. Can we hear that all right? Okay. Now the thing about the reggae strum and why we should set a metronome is because we are skipping beats, then there's a tendency to speed up. Yeah, that anytime you're dropping a beat, then you have to make sure you make room for it. Okay, so let's try this. If we start on the G, right, we do scratch, scratch, strum. So we do scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Okay, that's already feeling kind of fast. Okay, so let's pause there, right? So for intermediate level, let me get a little prop for my ukulele here. For intermediate level, we should be able to mute at this point, but if you don't know how to mute yet, that's okay. We'll work on that. But you want your G to be fully formed, and then you're going to add your pinky. And I've talked about this, but I'll try to show it. You want your wrist to come forward. You want to use your whole arm, engage your whole arm, right? And allow the pinky to come up and touch the string. Yeah. You want to make sure that all the strings have some finger touching it so that you can mute the sound, right? So if you strum, and then you drop the finger, right? Then and release the G, you should be able to get a scratch. So that's essentially what we're practicing here, right? So you start with the scratch, then you strum, right? Then you go right back. Scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Okay? So just try that for yourself, and we're going to throw the mindfulness aspect in where you're going to just barely touch the strings with all your fingers, right? Right now I'm barely touching each string. That's how you're going to get the best scratch sound, right? If you press a little bit too hard, you get a like weird ringing sound. Yep. So just see how much you can let go of touching the strings, the G plus the pinky, right? All of them barely touching. Okay? Okay. Right? Play with it. Go too light. Go maybe a little heavier. It's like a fine motor control that you might not have yet, right? You might not have used your left hand in that way. So just light. And even in the right hand, you might not know how to scratch yet. So let's get used to that, right? I'm just allowing my index finger to scrape over. You can also use the thumb. It's a different kind of a scratch sound. Sometimes I do that, right? When I want a bit of a lighter scratch, right? Sometimes you want more of an intentional scratch. Okay, so, right? With that light touch, right, we're gonna alternate with allowing the pinky to come up just a little bit, right? You can see here, I'm just barely lifting the pinky off, and then I'm pressing down on my G, right? And then I'm dropping it right back down. And here we talk about the squeeze or the pump, right? The squeeze of the or pump of the G, and then dropping the pinky again right away. And you almost want the envelope, the opening for the sound, the squeeze, to be as minimal and precise as you possibly can make it, right? If I'm going like this, it's a little too much sound. I want something that feels more like a stab, right? Right, so let's play with how little sound you can make. And it's not so much about little, it's more about exact, right? That in the release of the sound, you are able to touch all the strings at the right moment, right? And then mute the sound again. All right, so play with that. How little sound can you make it? How exact of a sound can you make it? Okay. And then we're alternating between that scratch and that attack, the stab. Let's just call it a stab. Right? I could even get smaller with my stab. The great reggae players have a really nice feel on the stab. Okay, so I'm alternating right now without the metronome, right? We're going to add the metronome, but I want you to get a feel first, right? So scratch, stab, scratch, stab, right? How little of a lift is it for that stab? You pinch, pump, squeeze, whatever you like to call it, right? And that's a very small motion too, right? I find that sometimes people, they want to squeeze really hard because they're eager to get that sound, but you don't need much squeeze at all. And then you have to be aware of what your pinky is doing in terms of lifting off. You don't want it to lift off too far either, right? Scratch. Okay. Okay, let's add our metronome. This is 100. Let's bring it down to 90. Okay. Let's just scratch first, right? Scratch, 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 scratch. Try to get a feel. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. We could call it 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and. So we're going to squeeze, pump, on the ands. 1 and 2 and 1. Okay, give it a try. Go 1 and 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 and, right? Just try to see, can you lighten up your hand? Can you get the cleanest scratch sound that you can achieve right now? Okay, let's pause there. Go ahead, shake it out a little bit. Okay, how's that going so far? Right? Let's try now the A minor. Okay. Now A minor, you're going to use these other two fingers to mute. You could also use this inside finger to mute. It's up to you. You could use the index finger to play A minor, and then you have more fingers to mute, right? It's adapting it. It might depend on a per song basis, right? What you're gonna do. Okay, so A minor. If I'm using my middle finger, I have all these fingers to help me mute. Right, strum, right? You want the fingers to not go too far away. You want them to hover close. And then they drop. You get a scratch. Okay, so for yourself, you're practicing the scratch. You're practicing the stab, right? Okay? You can adjust your fingering and see which one you like better. You can try muting with the inside finger. It's kind of harder. Doesn't give you as clean of a sound. Okay? And actually, let's try the C, and then we'll try all of it with the metronome. Now C, well, if you're going to use the ring finger for C, then you want to drop the inside fingers. But something you might want to do is go to the bar C, where you take the B flat shape, right, and move over to the 3rd fret. Then you're doing a full squeeze, right? When you squeeze a bar, it's just that much easier, right? You're not dropping the extra fingers. Sometimes I'll do a C just with the index here so that I can use these other 3 fingers to drop. So maybe try that, because you might see me doing that. So you're going to strum on the C using your index finger, right? And now drop those fingers. Right? So, yeah, try this with me. You strum the C and then drop your fingers immediately just to mute. Right? Should be relatively easy to achieve that. It's just more about training your fingers to go to that position. Okay? So then after you mute the sound, you scratch. Right? See how quickly you can mute. It's kind of fun just to like see how I use the word envelope. That's like a like a term that's used in music production, right? Like how big of an opening are you making, right? It's like you're just letting the sound leak out for just a little second. Okay. Chris is asking, do you generally try to use more than one finger to mute? Yes. I would say use as many fingers as possible because it'll give you a cleaner mute sound. Yeah. Okay, let's try our pattern here. Let's try it first without the metronome, just so that we can get a feel for it, okay? And what we're going to do in between, right? So we're going to go G. Let's start with our G. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Start with the scratch. Scratch, hit, scratch, hit, scratch, hit, scratch, hit. Now we're going to scratch for the first beat of the A minor, and you don't have to keep holding this chord. You can actually go to any mute position. So you might see me doing this where in between the G, I'll go to just like a full release, right? Mute, because from there it's easier for me to go to the A minor, right? So that's something that takes some adaptation with reggae, the fact that you have a mute that you can kind of move around, yeah? Okay, so let's go A minor, right? So we go scratch first, A minor, scratch. Okay, now you're going to scratch and move to C. So I might just move all my fingers up here so that I can use my index here. Scratch, C, scratch, C, scratch, C, scratch, C. Now we're scratching. So during the scratch, you're trying to move your hand back to G. That takes a little bit of getting used to. And this is a little bit of next level stuff, right? That like you could just hold your hand in that position and scratch there before moving to the next chord. But you'll find efficiencies in kind of coming back to a neutral position and then going to the next chord. So see if you can find that, yeah? Okay, so let's go even slower. Let's go to 80. Okay, and let's see if we can move through our pattern, right? So it's essentially 4 hits per chord, okay? So we're on the G, we'll go 1, 2, 3, we go scratch, hit, scratch, hit, scratch, hit, scratch, move to A minor, scratch, 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 move to C, scratch, scratch, move back to G, right? You have that beat on the scratch to move. Stay on G, scratch, G, scratch, G, scratch, move A minor, and move to C, and move to G, scratch. One more time, and then we'll slow it down. Scratch, G, scratch, G, scratch, move. Scratch and move. Scratch and move. Okay, how did that go? Are we feeling how we're moving during the mute, right? How are we able to get a little bit more efficient with both the mute and the squeeze? Let's go even slower because, if anything, it helps to, reveal your potential inefficiencies. When you go slower, you really have to focus and be more exact, yeah? Okay. Need practice moving back to the G, yes. Okay, that is the hardest one. Okay, so let's go a little slower and see if that extra time helps to give us just things falling down here. The extra time helps us to get a little bit ahead of the G, okay? And we can even go slower, but we'll see how this goes first. This is 70 BPM, right? 1 and 2 and ready on the G. We start with the scratch. Scratch, 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 scratch. Move on the scratch. There we go. Move on the scratch to C. Move on the scratch to G. Good. A lot of it is just thinking ahead a little bit. Scratch, move to A minor. Scratch and move. Get ready, scratch, move to G, scratch. One more time. Scratch, scratch, squeeze, move, squeeze, scratch, squeeze, scratch, pump, scratch and move. Scratch and move. Okay. You can take that even slower to really articulate if you want. Yeah. Let's move. 25 years and my life is still. Let's move back up a little bit so that we can sing a little bit. Let's go 90. Okay. Easier at 70 BPM. Good, right? That if you wanted to go to 60, right? You could certainly practice like that, and I would say that is the best way to improve, you know? You could go even slower and just really listen for how tight you can make that little stab, right? How you can get your brain to start thinking, okay, right? I'm moving, I'm getting ready, and I'm gonna move, and I'm moving, right? That it takes us hand-holding our brain into those kinds of transitions. Yeah. Yeah. Hardest part of G is lifting the chord for the scratch. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. So something I sometimes do is I do a bar on the G here. Right? So I use my index finger across, and that makes it maybe a tiny bit easier to lift for the squeeze. Yeah? So maybe try that as well. Some people play a bar G. Because I play a low G, I don't play the bar G because then I lose my low note, my low G. But this bar G like that could be enough to help you get a little bit more pump. Good. Okay, let's play this at 90 so we can just sing a little bit, and then we're going to move on to the next song, next idea. Yeah. Okay. So just see if you could feel it right down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's just play through the pattern once, like the intro. Ready? 2. 1, 2, 3. We go. Scratch, hit, scratch, hit, scratch, hit, scratch. Ready? Moving on the scratch. Move C. Move back to G. Try the bar, maybe. Let's go one more time in the loop. We go G. Scratch, hit, scratch and move. A minor. Here we go. Scratch and move C. Scratch and move G. "25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that this world right? Moving on the scratches. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. I say, hey, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. I say, hey, what's going on? Okay, well, pause there. Okay, how did that go at 90? I would say I normally do this song more like 100 or 110, but we're going to keep it there for today. Okay, so yeah, let me know how that's going, how that went, and we'll move on to the next song, which is Bob Marley's Waiting in Vain. And this one gives us a few more interesting chords. Really, there's the reggae part of it is just these two chords, so getting better at 90. Got them moving back to G. Good. Okay. Okay, so Waiting in Vain, I think, sounds better with our double scrape, right? Where you scrape down up, right? Right? So this is just something different to get used to and requires timing practice, right? So that the down and the up of the scratch, right? So we're just in our scratch mode and we're going down, up, and then you're squeezing, right? But then you are releasing in time for the up. Down, up, squeeze, up, down, up, squeeze, up. We'll go slow, and we'll throw a metronome on there. But you could just try it for now. Start with our G major 7, which you could play as a kind of half bar, partial bar, right? So that gives you these other 3 fingers to mute with, which is nice, yeah? Right, down, up, right? Scratch, scratch, squeeze, and just pick up these fingers for a mini second, right? And then you're dropping the fingers right again, right away. Right? So scratch, scratch. Right? I'll just walk you through at like a, step-by-step pace, and then we'll bring it up to speed. So you're going scratch down, scratch up, right? Squeeze and play down, but mute right away, and then scratch up, right? And then down, up, scratch, muted, and up. And then we're going to our next chord, C major 7. Same thing, scratch, scratch, play, mute right away, and then up, right? And so this is just to also show you that the left hand is doing most of the muting work, right? Right? You could use some of the right hand to assist, right? But the more you can do it with just the left hand, the more flexibility you have to add, say, picking or chord melody and whatnot with the right hand. So, yeah. Okay. So let's go to a nice slow tempo. Let's go 80. Okay, we're gonna double the tempo in a second, but I just want you to feel this first, right? That if we were doing the same beat as What's Up, right? The previous song, we would be doing scratch, play, scratch, play, scratch, play, play. just the G major for now. Actually, yeah, let's just do this first. Let's go to C major 7, right? So again, sorry, I'll pause it for a second. So again, you want to think about that transition, right? After the last G major 7, you don't have to go to the G major 7. You can start moving yourself to scratch in the C major 7 position. This down up is easier, yeah? Okay, right. Maybe it feels more even, right? That you can keep track of time more easily with the down up. Yep. Okay, let's turn this back on. Okay, right. So let's try it without the down up, just like we did for the previous song. But we'll try G major 7. We go scratch, play, scratch, scratch. C major 7, move and scratch. Move back on the scratch. And move. Good. Okay. Now try adding down up. Down up. Down up. Okay, down and down up, down up, scratch up, down up, scratch up, down up, scratch up, down up, scratch up, down up, scratch. One last time. Down up, scratch up, down up, scratch up, down up, scratch up, down up, scratch up. Okay, let's take the tempo up to 90 and let's just try it there. Okay, right, so you're going to think down, up, scratch, up, down, up, scratch, up, down, up, scratch, up, okay? 1, 2, 3, and... C. Okay, that's pretty slow for how we would actually do the song, but I want to do an exercise that I've done in other metronome practices where we essentially double the beats per minute so that you get those eighth notes, okay? So if I do that, we'll go to 180, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. You're hearing a lot more beats. You're hearing the 1 and 2 and. You could call it 1 and 2 and, but you can count it different ways. It could be like 1E and a 2E and a 1. It's too many things to say. But basically, you're hearing a beat for the down and a beat for the up. This is exactly like what we were playing before, but you're just hearing beats for the up now. Does that make sense? Okay. See if you can feel this, right? So it's going to go like this. Down, up, scratch, up, 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 down. I mean, I'm saying scratch, but I mean play, like squeeze. Down, up, play, and down, up, and down, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze makes more sense than pump to me. Okay, are we feeling this? And you're moving on the scratch. Just a little bit more. No wait in vain for your love. I don't wait in vain. Okay, we'll pause there. We're going to go a little bit faster, but let me know how that's feeling. Can you get used to that double time beat? Can you feel how you can hone in on the specific timing of that up strum, right? It's not random. And it's not just whenever my arm gets in back up there, you know, that the more you can listen. And really, I like to say rhythm is a full body experience, right? That more that you can get your body to connect to that up feeling on that metronome hit, then the smoother it's going to be, right? Yeah. You like that? It's a whole feeling. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, Chris is saying, it's helping me to realize that the normal state is the scratch state and the pump is the anomaly. And I always need to return to the normal or resting state. That's awesome. Yes, that is true, right? That we are at rest more than we are in action. Good. Yes, if it's helpful, that's great. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Randall saying this song wants to swing a bit. It does, but once we go faster, it'll be clearer. It's like you want to swing it when it's slow. When it's faster, it's a little straighter. But you can certainly swing it, and we can practice a swing rhythm on a different song. Yeah. So let's go a little bit faster, right? And see if we can still hear the beats. We're going to go 200, right? Because this is still slow for the song, right? Right? Oh, I'm off. Okay, so the first thing you can do is just scratch, right, along with the rhythm. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Swing it just within this rhythm, right? Down, up, 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 down. Down, up, 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 down. I don't wanna wait in vain for your love. I don't wanna wait in vain for your love. Okay, we're gonna go up one more step to get a little bit faster, okay? And this is mostly because I want everyone to feel that the up strum has a clear beat, right? The up strum is not just a passing strum to the next down strum. The up strum gets its own beat, yeah? Okay, might feel fast, right? Remember, start with the down up, 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 down up. Okay, when you're ready, scratch down. Down, 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 down. I don't wanna wait in vain for your love. Right, if you're lost, just go back to the down up. I don't wanna wait in vain for your love. From the very first time I rest my eyes on you, girl, my heart says follow through. But I know now that I'm to me as if you think I'm wanna know when you're gonna come soon. I don't Okay, we'll pause there. Okay, so the swing part of it is that the up comes a little bit later, and the exact count would be like one and a two and a one and a two and a one and a two and a one and a two and a, but I don't know how to do that on my metronome. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. Or I think I have to pay extra to do that on my metronome. So, yeah, well, we can count that out ourselves if we want. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1. And when you add swing to a reggae strum, then it just has like a more laid back feel. Yeah. But yeah, it just depends on what you're playing. Yeah. Let us try. We don't have to do this whole song. This is Lenny's arrangement for Is This Love, right? I wanna love you and treat you right. I wanna love you every day and every night. This is an old. I don't know if Lenny's updated his arrangement, but I would make it clearer where the chords change, right? Let's not worry about that for right now. The part I want to focus on is this part here, the Is This Love. Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Okay, so let's start with our C sharp minor. Yep. C sharp minor, you're on the 4th fret. Same shape as B minor, which is where we're going, right? So I want you to get used to how these bar chords make it really easy to keep that pump going, right? Right, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, squeeze and down, up, squeeze and down, up, squeeze and down, up, squeeze and down, up, squeeze, right? You could easily slide over during your little scratch, okay? So let's just walk it through slow, right? We're going to start with the scratch. The scratch is the downbeat, 2, 3, and scratch and squeeze, right? Little squeezes, tiny little squeeze on C sharp minor. Right? See how little of a squeeze you can do to get full sound, but then get full release right after. Right? And this took me a long time to get, when Lenny was playing this song way back when, I would try to play it and I couldn't sound anything like him. So over the years, I've worked on it, and this is where I'm at now. But, in our shows, we do Message in a Bottle, and I'm doing, what am I doing? Sending out an SOS, sending out an SOS, sending out an SOS. It's like there's a lot of muting going on. It just takes time and practice to get it really nice and clean. Okay? Okay, so we're starting with this C sharp minor, right? Scratch, up, right, down, up, and then squeeze, and then back up, down, up, squeeze. Right? And then we're sliding down on that after you're scratching as you're sliding down. Right? And then you're going to scratch, right? But you can kind of be on the move as you're scratching. Yeah, so I just want you to feel how easy it is when you have the bar chords. And so it might encourage you to use a bar chord variation when you want to do more of a pump or mute effect. Yeah? Okay, so Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Oh, we'll just keep turning that around. Let's see if we do 220. Down, up, down, up, down. And we're adding a little bit of swing. Everybody feeling that? No, down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Oh. Oh. Yeah, you can work on that. That's in the tab there. Okay? So, we could do that. Is this love, is this love, is... Yeah, if we slowed it down, right, and yes, it's time to get laid back with this. This is love. If we wanted to find the swing feel, right, we can go one and a, two and a, one and a, two and a, and you want to be on the so you have this triplet, right, one and you're coming up on the third note of the triplet. One and a, two and a, 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 and I feel it. Whoa. But that's pretty slow. Okay, so let's take it back. Instead of our double time that gives us all the beats, right, we'd take it back to our quarter note time, right? One and a two and a 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 one and a two. And again, you know, it is easy to start speeding up when you are skipping notes, right? The down up might be easier, right? One and a two and a one and a two and a one and a two. One and a two and a 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 one and a two. Okay, if I were to slow that way down, one and a two, one and a two and a 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 one and a two and a. It is hard to slow down. One and a two and a one and a two and a, right? So hopefully you can hear. I'm going one and a, two and a, one and a, two and a. And this is something that you might naturally be doing. Some people naturally swing everything, right? You might already be doing this without needing to count it, but the next level is being able to count it and knowing that you're doing it deliberately. Yeah? One and a two and a 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 one and a two and a. Okay. Sherry's asking, is there a video of Lenny playing this? I'm sure there is, because this was his jam for a long time. This was his feature song. Like, I know he played it on a stage at, like, Palm Springs Uke Fest or something. That was, you know, if Lenny was going to play a song, it was going to be this song. So it's got to be out there somewhere. Okay, so now let's add the next level. And it's kind of fun to do it here, right? We're going to come up and strum. So down, up, right? Strum, mute, strum up, mute. Yeah. So you can see my hands are just doing this little pump, 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 pump. It's very, oh yeah, that was cool. It actually changed the focus. Pump, 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 pump. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So let's count it out slow, right? Down, up, pump, pump, out, up, pump, pump, down, up, pump. Yeah. So the key to being able to come up and strum is that you have to already have muted after the down. Down, up, down and mute, and then up and mute. Pump, pump. And that's why we have to get efficient with that little pump. If you're holding it for too long, then you're not going to be able to release it and squeeze again, right? So it has to be tiny. It's almost like you're barely doing it. And like what Carissa was saying about like this being like kind of the neutral state, right? It's like driving a car. You want to be in neutral. Come back to neutral. Is this love, is this love, is this love, is this love that I'm feeling? Fonthas said this might be a bridge too far. Yeah, that's okay. I'm feeling. Oh, Lenny is like a freaking master at this, and I just have learned a lot from him. And I'll, it's just really being tight with that rhythm. And just imagine when you can get there, how much better your rhythm will be. And it took me several years to get my rhythm up to that level, So take your time. Christina posted Lenny's tutorial from 9 years ago. Baby Lenny. Yeah. Okay. So, again, you could take it super slow. Like if we went... that's not going to be helpful. Let's go double time. And we go 60, but double time, which is 120. Right? We go down, up, pump, pump, down, up. Right? This doesn't have the swing, but that's okay. We can add the swing naturally. Down, up, pump, pump, down, up, pump, pump. Right? So this is just an exercise for how do you get yourself to that level. You go as slow as you can stand, and then you do each individual action to a beat. Right? So you go down, up, pump, pump, down, up, pump, pump, down, up, pump, pump, down, up. Change chords, down, up, pump, pump, down, up, pump, pump, down. It might seem slow and mechanical, and that's kind of what our brains and our bodies need to feel it. Bump, 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 bump. And then you go faster. Right, we go 140. Let's go. And it's still going to be slow. Down, up, pump, pump, down. Yeah. If your hand is tired, you got to squeeze less. I would say barely squeeze. So that's 140. Now we go 160. We're just slowly stepping up. That's the way to practice, right? And down, up. Now I can add a little swing. I'm feeling it. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Okay, and let's just do one last one at 180. Okay. Down, up, pump, pump, down, up, pump, pump, down, up, pump, pump. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Good. Okay. And then finally, if we go back up to Valerie, right? Right? You're gonna hear us doing on the video, right? Well, sometimes I go out. That we're going alternating, right? Scratch, down, up, right? Scratch, and then so, single, down. I go out by myself and I look across the water. And I think of all the things what you do. In my head I'll paint a picture. Right, so it's all the same things. You mute, you practice slow of where the downs and the ups are, and you get really tight with the pump so that you can do the double, right? And then you train the rhythm so that you can play with it, right? Since I've come on home, well, my body's been a mess. I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie. Okay. And we'll end there for today. Okay. That was fun. I liked it. I like metronome practice, and I feel like it is a necessary part of getting better, of especially when it comes to strumming. You know, I think a lot of us, we like finger picking, we like chord melody, but you can really, you know, take your time with it. It's not as critical to practice with a metronome or know exactly how everything is coordinated. So I think, yeah, it's kind of nice to alternate between, say, chord melody stuff that is more about finger technique and this more rhythmic type stuff that is more about this, you know, listening, awareness, the efficiency of the hands and all that kind of stuff. Yep. Okay. Any last questions? And we can wrap it up for today. Yes, there's a lot of brain work. It's helpful to break it down and practice slow. Yeah, I love practicing slow, and really everything should be practiced slow. Let me go back to my screen here. Let's see. I want to play everything well. And it's going to take time. Yep. Getting the reggae strum and the scratch and the pump. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed the lesson. I need a drink and a cookie. Yes. Need some sugar to feed that brain. Definitely. Reward yourself. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. I'm glad everybody liked the lesson. And yes. Metronome drills. Yeah. I mean, that's the stuff that I need to do, and that's why I do it with you all. It makes me do it too. Yeah. I am tired, but I also, you know, need to get back into regular life. So it's good to teach this lesson, and thanks everybody for being here, for dealing with me in my recovery mode. Tour is exhausting, but fun. The flying is pretty tough too, but I'm trying to get used to that too. I ran out of wine 30 minutes ago. Gotta re-up the wine. We should have, maybe before the intermediate lesson, we have a happy hour social. I think that would be fun. Anyway, all right. Okay. All right. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks for the support on tour. And it's already the end of the month, so we'll be back next week already. I think it will be June next week. with our beginner jam. So we'll go back to some mindful practice, and it's always fun, yeah. Okay, all right, everyone. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Mwah. Aloha. And happy practicing. Remember, you can play back slower too, but get your own metronome. That's the best way to learn. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Ciao. Oh yeah, this is my metronome too. It's just an app. It's called Pro Metronome app. But any metronome app will do. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.